Interesting. I think that I'll make my case for Birmingham City then.
Yes,
Talking of
got to.
talking
The money
of
bags. If you can say it, Gab, without saying that, if you can get through this without saying Tom Brady's name, we'll all say that we've done well and go home.
I think talking of all-time great teams, we did get 111 points in League One last season. And I think, as you'll know, as a Sheffield United fan, sometimes, if you have a brilliant season in League One, that can give you momentum to go on and win promotion the next 2 seasons. And I think we can obviously take inspiration from Ipswich as well. And I would also make the argument, what I love about Birmingham City for this season, Ollie, is we're not just, I was expecting us to go into the season, right, and be like Ethan Laird, Christoph Clara, Pike Sun-ho, Tomoki Iwata and Jay Stansfield. Those are the go-tos that are definitely going to start and will add quality, 6 starting players around that. But what we've actually done is we've strengthened areas where we're already strong. And what that means is the players that I've just mentioned, who were absolutely unbelievable last season and gave us, for certain generations of fans, the most enjoyable team ever to watch at St Andrews, they've got to then go again, up their game again. Christoph Clara is an absolute Rolls Royce of a centre half, brilliant in the air, thumping in the challenge, brilliant passing range. You can ping the diagonals. You've got Tomoki Iwata, who's that metronome in midfield. You've got Pike Sun-ho, who just turn, touch of a feather, the agility, the turns, the quality that he brings. His passing range is insane. You've got Jay Stansfield, who scored 20 goals last season, and I think he might even do better in the Championship because you've got more open ground to get into, which is going to play into his strengths. Ethan Laird as well, I'm a massive fan of, with those rampaging runs. Chris Davis has changed the mentality of the club. He stamped a real clear style of play on this team. And so, yes, I get that firstly, it's a big step up from League One to the Championship. And it's also, for teams like Southampton and Leicester and Ipswich, they are coming down from the Premier League, which is an insanely high level. But I think from our starting point, which is like a really amazing team with a real winning mentality, and we've added to that, and we've signed to sort of throw the gauntlet to even our best players last season. I think we've got a real formula to go and attack the league and say, come on, we can go for automatic promotion.
I mean, the transfers are insane. You look at some of the players that have come in. United were rumoured to be in for Bright Osei Samuel. We were rumoured to be after Tommy Doyle. 12 months ago, Man City were rumoured to be after Kyogo. So we are talking about a talent, and the players that Birmingham are coming in is to build what would look like a super team. I think for me, there's a couple of question marks where I don't think it's major. I think I've got Birmingham 4th. I think they are going to step up. I think they're going to take to the Championship really well. And I think they're going to be an outstanding side. I think for me, the question is to bridge that gap to Southampton, to Ipswich. It's are they ready for that jump? Are some of these players who we know are outstanding footballers like Jay Stansfield, like Iwata, are they ready, having had a season in League One where it has been easy? Let's be honest, not in a rude way, no disrespect to League One, but it was easy for them playing at that level because they were just so much better than it. Are they ready for that step up to take on players, to take on a level that is now going to be a more level playing field? And I think that's the question for me about Chris Davis as well. I think his job is insane and nobody should underplay. Taking a good team to win the title is one thing. Taking a good team to get 111 points is utterly ridiculous. And it's not something that you can do. But this is a different challenge this season. The challenge isn't go out there and win with the best team. It's go out there and find a way to win when you don't have the talent advantage. And I think that's going to be a real thing for me, where I want to see it proved that they're ready to do that. I think I have a lot of faith that Birmingham, and if I'm honest, if you ask me to pick a playoff winner today, that might be my bet for them. And I'm not against the idea they will be promoted. But I think for me, it's those question marks. It's that, are they ready to just go again? Not many teams can do that. And I think it's a huge ask, particularly for a manager with not that much experience beyond one unbelievable season with a significant talent advantage. Have you seen enough from Davis that you think he's ready to adapt to that in terms of taking on teams like United, like Southampton, like Ipswich, who are going to come with such a talent advantage themselves, even in comparison to this Birmingham team?
Yes and no. I do kind of recognise where you're coming from. I think until he proves he can do it in the Championship, certainly from an outside perception point of view, there probably will be that question mark. I think that's reasonable. I think from my point of view, firstly, I would make the point that it really makes a difference that he's coached in first team setups before, even if he hasn't been the number one, because he's learnt from the likes of Brendan Rodgers and Postecoglou as well. So I think that's a pretty big factor. I like his mentality. I like that, as well as some of the ideas that he's got and some of the innovative patterns of play that he's introduced, that actually he does also have that aura, that sense of, when he speaks, you listen. And I think that can be a really important thing. And I also like how he's sort of stamped a style of play, which you don't always see that necessarily. Sometimes you see a group of insanely gifted individuals that are kind of just with because of the individual quality. And we undoubtedly had that individual quality last season, but it wasn't just that, because I don't think you get to 111 points on just that. So I think there's those things that make me really confident that Chris Davies has got what it takes to meet those challenges. And then I think, just as I was kind of alluding to earlier, I love that we brought in the left centre half who played for Derby, Ireland, Cashin, because that means that there's going to be real competition between him, Newman, and Christophe Clara, who would all have their different merits to start last because. So that's a really exciting thing. Tommy Doyle's an insane addition to the midfield. I can't imagine not starting one of Paik and Iwata, but that prospect excites me that they've got to raise their game again. And then we've signed Furuhashi. So if Dave Stansfield wants to be number 9, he's got to bring his game up another level as well, because you've got Furuhashi, who's an incredible goal scorer at Celtic. And we've added Damari Gray for that bit of pace as well in those attacking and wide areas. And I'm still expecting another 2 or 3 to come in. So it's that combination of the faith in Chris Davies, his leadership qualities, but also the additions that we've made that not just strengthen areas that could do with upgrading, but also strengthen areas where we're already strong and bringing that competition, which really exciting.
The final question then. You've answered me on the manager. Yeah. You've answered me on most of the outfield team. But Gab, last season we saw Leeds try and get promoted with a goalkeeper who had a moment in him, shall we say, in terms of the way he's taking it forward. Do you have the confidence, if James Beadle's coming in to be your number 1, that he isn't going to have a Meslier moment, which could be important as we get down to those sort of parts of the season when it's going to get tight, when it's going to get difficult? We saw last season at Wednesday he had a really difficult time of it. I know the under-21s won the tournament, but I thought he had quite a poor tournament with England over the summer as well. Okay. Do you feel as though he's ready for the expectation that might be placed on me?
I actually think that there's a fair chance that Ryan Allsop's going to be our number 1 on the opening day. Because, and I'm a little bit surprised that I'm saying this, because if you'd asked me sort of midway through last season, I would have said, yeah, when we get to the Championship, we're definitely going to need to sign number 1 goalkeeper. But actually, Allsop's performances in the second half of last season, or even the last sort of 3 quarters of last season, let's say, they were really strong. And he makes a massive difference to us from his quality of distribution, and is really important to the way we play from that point of view. Now, is Ryan Allsop a top Championship? And I would probably agree with you that could be one area of question mark. Although Beadle also, as much as last season for Beadle didn't quite go as he exactly would have hoped, he did have a very good half season at Sheffield Wednesday initially, and he's already got sort of 18 months of, 2 years of experience under his belt, because he had a centre crew as well. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I think it could be Allsop starting the number 1 jersey with Beadle providing the competition.
Interesting. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people watching who have got other ideas about who's going to come second. Obviously, some people might be screaming at me to say, where's your confidence in your own team? Oh, I just don't think we're quite there yet in terms of how the squad's being pulled together. So, yeah, I think we're probably relatively comfortable that we both think Ipswich, we both think Southampton, Birmingham United are going to be in the top 6, and that we both think Coventry.
Yeah, I think what I'd love to do is really home in on the areas where we're a little bit different, because there's some fantastic content on all teams across various different platforms for the people. But I'd love to kind of home in on the areas where we disagree a little bit. So do you fancy? I'll leave it up to you, Ollie, if there's an area where we're a bit different.
Let's work us way down then, and let me ask you about Millwall and who's going to take that final spot in the playoffs, because we've agreed.